the guy in charge of the council on aging?
No. Well, I'm the chairman of the Council on Aging, but that's just facilitating the meetings. Everybody's equal, everybody's got their ideas. Particularly this group, but every group is good in its own way. This particular group is full of ideas, and ideas that make practical sense. So it's fun going to each of our monthly meetings.
Why do we need a council on aging? Just for those people out there with me.
What we're supposed to do is identify the needs of the elderly on Nantucket. So we're not in charge of anything. We don't raise money. We don't really do anything in the sense of something practical. What we do is identify the needs. So some person comes in and says, there's a need for transportation for seniors to be able to get to somewhere, or the food isn't very good here, or that whatever we find a need. Some people need a wheelchair ramp, some kind of need. So we identify the needs. People come to us with those. We come up with them ourselves. The board reaches out to all their friends. So we're sort of we're connected to the island. Then we say, okay, here's a need. How can this be dealt with? And it may turn out that there's some group that's already dedicated to something like whatever this thing is. So we can say, okay, why don't you and you call these guys up next month? Let us know what happens. Let them be aware that this particular thing.
Is there anything right now that's pressing that people should know about right now about an issue?
The Elder Expo is another thing that we're involved with. That's in September, and we like the Elder Expo because that really has to do with identifying the needs of the seniors.
Sure does.
So the Elder Expo, the people who are care providers for seniors, people who are involved in any way with seniors, show up at the expo at the high school. Two things happen. People come because it's fun. We have a photo booth, we have bands, we have all kinds of things going on, plus all this information. So that's kind of great. So that's good for people coming, but the people who are in the booths themselves get to see what other people are doing, and that's really great.
And it also brings focus of the younger population to the needs of the older population, so they're not forgotten.
Well, that's true, and your videos help, because you often come, video what's going on there, and it gets, bit by bit, it gets onto your station. People go, oh, I had no idea that this is happening, because that's what happens a lot.
Thanks for your service, Tom.
How are you, Gino?
I'm good. You volunteer a lot. A lot of boards.
I am. No, I agree with you. I'm on the planning board, planning commission, the CPC, Community Preservation Committee. I got onto the Nantucket Center for Elder Affairs, which has been great.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
how do you do it? And you're a pharmacist.
And I'm a pharmacist.
I guess you got your day job, and then you're free at night too.
Life's not boring. I'll put it to you that way.
For those people out there that might be interested in joining a board, tell them a little bit about how the time works for you and how that could work for someone. As busy as you are.
It's a matter of if you really do want to get involved, I think you'll find the time. I mean, even with work, it's always a balancing act. And thank God I've got a boss who really tries to work with me to make that happen, which is great. There's quid pro quo. I help him when he needs it. He'll help me when I need the time off.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's good. He sees the value in doing civic duty as well, too. Being in the pharmacy, for example, I mean, you're out there.
Absolutely.
You're out there. So I think he sees that value, and that's great. But it's just a want. I mean, when you do those things, you can kind of walk away after and say, boy, I feel good about what I did. And that's important. I think that's the motivation right there. It's just knowing you're part of a community. You want to see the community thrive and grow. You've got neighbors who you live around, and this is an opportunity to give back to them. And
now, okay, but what about the politics, which you can't?
Okay, all right. So
let's get away from that.
And I agree with you, but you know what? Politics is pervasive in life. It does make a difference. You have politics at work. You have politics in the home place. It's very funny.
You know what? I believe that people don't talk about politics as much as they used to. Have you noticed that? People kind of don't want to talk about it because they don't want to know really where you're coming from. They want to find common ground, but they don't want to go there.
I think I do to a certain extent. But you've got to learn to get, in order to get anything done, you've got to learn to get beyond the politics. You've got to learn just to work with people, with who they are, understand their motivations, and just try to come to some type of common framework and reference point with them. Yeah.
And if people understood that more and said, look, you know, that's what's healthy in a democracy.
Oh, it is.
The debate, but then compromise. Somehow you've got to come to compromise.
And that's usually what it's about. It's very funny. I remember when I first got on the planning board, Neil Parent, God bless his soul, said, how do you like it? And I said, it's great. He said, don't you find it frustrating when people disagree with you? And I said, no, it's actually good. And he laughed and said, you are so full of, well,
yeah.
You fill in the blank. I said, no, Neil, you don't understand. When we disagree about things, it strengthens the position in the end. And I think we arrive at a decision that works well for everyone. It's better than when everyone's in the room just going like this, you know? But you've got to be able to kind of just take deep breaths, work through the process and say, you know what? If it worked well for everyone in the end, it was worth every moment in the process.
Well, listen, I want to thank you, Barry, for your service.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Gino. Thank you for your